This female reporter had terrible luck. On her very first day at work, she went to cover a story about a recently resurrected primitive human. The moment the primitive saw her, he grabbed her hands and threw her to the ground. Having restrained himself for 200 million years, he finally unleashed his raw instincts in broad daylight. No one could stop him at this point. This went on for 3 hours straight. By the time it was over, the 90-pound reporter went home weighing 120 pounds. After finishing all this, Peak was so exhausted that he collapsed and fell asleep immediately. Soon, the incident drew worldwide attention. Masses of people gathered at the U.S. military base, demanding justice for the reporter. Among them was Yujiro Hanma. Of course, Yujiro came for Peak, not the reporter. But when he reached the entrance, soldiers tried to stop him. Yujiro kicked one soldier flying with a single blow. A terrifying aura erupted from his entire body. The sight terrified the soldiers, who immediately dropped their weapons and began fighting each other right in front of him. Seeing this, Yujiro slowly walked toward the iron gate. He only spoke after the 3 soldiers were beaten until their faces were bruised and bloodied. Clearly, the 3 had made the right choice. Even if one of them had tried to escape without fighting, Yujiro would have mercilessly killed them. Having earned Yujiro's forgiveness, the 3 barely escaped with their lives. Then, with a single chop of his hand, Yujiro effortlessly split the iron gate. He strutted into the base without any hesitation. Meanwhile, many martial arts masters had already gathered here in advance. Undoubtedly, they were all here for Peak, but at this time, Peak was still fast asleep inside a tree hollow. It was obvious he didn't take this group seriously at all. Seeing this, Jack finally lost his patience. He kicked the tree hollow hard. The loud noise successfully woke Peak. Everyone present was shocked to see a primitive human from 250 million years ago in person. But what no one expected was that the first thing Peak did after waking up was release a flood. To be precise, he was letting loose a torrent. Yujiro Hanma finally arrived at the scene. He walked straight up to the bulletproof glass. Yujiro pressed his face against it. As he pushed harder, his expression began to twist. The next moment, the bulletproof glass capable of withstanding a nuclear blast was crushed purely by his face. Finally, Yujiro reached Peak. In Yujiro's eyes, Peak lived in an era dominated by dinosaurs, where he had plenty of ways to fill his stomach. Yet, he deliberately chose to hunt Tyrannosaurus Rex. This showed that, like Yujiro, he loved challenging the strongest. With that, Yujiro extended his fist, ready to spar with Peak. Although Peak couldn't understand Yujiro's words, he pressed his own fist against Yujiro's. In an instant, a dazzling white light filled the entire room. To Peak, Yujiro felt like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, jaws wide open and dripping with blood.